Hello, everybody. I wanted to discuss the Sakura in a little bit, a couple of minutes, not a lot. That in a sense that I am watching a lot of fictitious movies, an example of books that have been written, and I find, for example, the Game of Thrones, the House of Dragon, it just inspires me because of the root of all of this. It's like as if everyone's fighting for that throne, that throne of swords, and who is the ruler of the kingdom. And so if you think about it, the whole reason for the Sakura of Japan, for example, is where it begins in my book. The location is Japan. The reason why is because it's not pure, I just made this up, I really like Japan. I don't think so. I think it has to do with a lot about the root of my ancestors and how this all began, how the hate began. And so it also begins way before I ever existed, the rule of the land and who is in control of that. Wars have separated us. Wars have evolved cultures and land and separated us, and we migrated because some of us weren't wanted in certain areas. We were evicted because of our religion, our beliefs, because of our sex, because of our education, because of our age, because of merely how we look. There's just so much hate out there that you would push an entire population out of its own country, and it's still happening today. It's so sad. But beginning with war with my family, the Spanish War in the Philippines has killed one of my grandfathers, my great-grandfather. And so that is how this all began with Thomas DeLopo, my grandfather, actually. His father was killed because he was helping, the rebels in the Philippines against the Spanish. He was trying to feed them, and he was killed. And that created this deep depression with my grandfather Thomas to join the military because he had nothing, no support, nothing, because his dad passed away. It's so incredibly sad. And then my grandfather fought World War I, and he fought in World War II. He was a POW and was used as an example as a United States Navy veteran, that this is what's going to happen to you if you rebel against us, Japanese occupancy. And so when I wrote the book, The Sakura, I was sick and tired of it. This is it. I'm tired of wars that affected my family over the years. It's so sad. How can we create something so gentle, so beautiful as our lands that we have been born in and raised and pushed aside like mere animals, I kind of wanted to create something where I would send a message to whoever is reading or whoever wants to listen, because somewhere out there, someone is, And so this tree of life that I created, that the beautiful Sakura tree that blooms every year, the beautiful flowers and fades until it's no more. Year after year, you witness this beautiful thing that is the tree of life. What if it had the secret element that had the power to save a world? And again, there's this thing, in comics and cartoons of the good and the bad and the balance of life, and how one evil being could create such havoc and chaos, calamity in one place called Dragonfly Island and try to capture it for herself and create an ice kingdom so that everybody would bow down to her, the empress of the world, because if you don't do it, I will destroy you and everything you are, because you are going to go against me. And so I created this cartoon character, or this character, Kitsune, who evolved from the sinister white fox, who was the guide for her to become the leader of Dragonfly Island. And everyone knows that Dragonfly Island is Japan. And isn't it ironic that Japan would try to lead and try to force its leadership into the Philippines and create another part of Dragonfly Island to create and grow its empirical world into its collection of islands. But no, it didn't happen. They didn't capture us. We are still free, right? And so my story begins with the tree of life and the element that this greedy, sinister spirit wants, that seemingly wanted to go into a human being and create havoc and create this army so that she can rule spiritually into that island to create a bigger kingdom for herself to rule. And so, of course there's going to be the offense, and they're going to fight, and they're going to say, no, we do not want this evilness in our land, our beautiful land that we grew up in. No, we don't. So it begins with the commoner who wanted to just find love, and she was this beautiful dancer, and she fell in love with a royal prince, the empress's son, who was the heir to the crown. And she didn't know that she was just a commoner. She thought she found true love. But the empress had nothing to do with her. She is not of blood of royals. She is not chosen for her son. But her son was adamant and said, I want this beautiful dancer to be my wife. And the empress said, no. So she created this lie, a lie to lure Hannah so that she can become a sinister person that everyone hated. She planted a crime against her that she never committed. And she involved her son in this plan. And it was horrible. And it worked. Hannah fled into the White Forest, which is in Mount Fuji. And everyone knows that the forest in Mount Fuji right now is a place where people take their lives because they are depressed. They have nothing in the world, and so that is where they take their lives. Unfortunately, it's true. And so I created this place called the White Forest, where Hannah ran. She was chased by horrible warriors of the imperial palace, horses hunting and dogs hunting her down. She ripped through the thorns of the forest and fell to her knees, and she said, it isn't worth it. I want to die. I want to die. Why me? Why me? What did I do? I just loved someone, and now that's a crime. And so Hannah wanted to take her life, but she was magically found by saviors of the forest. And those are the seasons, the 4 seasons. And for some reason, Hannah attracted their force field, attracted their energy. They hovered around her and they said, let's save this child. Somehow, some way, she is magnetizing our energy towards her. She is pure and innocent, and yet she is devoured with such hate. Let's change her. Let's try to make her pure again, loving again. Let's help her. And so that begins my story. And does she take their help at the end? Does she figure it all out? Because for some reason, there's a little piece of good within her. There's a little piece of good within her. And so that is my story, the Sakura, so far. And right now I'm in the 2nd volume. And it just so happens that, the pandemic is over, and so many things have inspired me to hold off until I can figure it all out, what the plot is and what I can continue to do. Sometimes it takes years for an author to continue a story, and I had to pause and just wait for a minute. It was written over 10 years ago, the 1st volume, and I think it's beginning to come back to me, the 2nd volume, and I need to keep writing. So join me in my journey as I continue with the Dragonfly Island volume, and then the 3rd volume is Rise of Kitsune. Rise of Kitsune. Alright, I will see you later, and I will continue on this vlog and this journey as a children's book author and cartoonist. Goodbye.